And here we are. Welcome back to Live Inside the Booth. I'm your host, Marlon Lowe. Got another very good show for you today. We have Rick Nelson of the Texas Youth Basketball League. He is better known as the TYBL. Listen, this is a league that has been going on around the state of Texas, from Austin, Houston, Dallas, the area. It's been bringing a collection of some of the top young talent from, I think, from third grade on all the way up to eighth grade. It's a league that they've been traveling around. They play each other in a different locations, different cities, and they keep records, they keep stats, and everything else that continues to enhance and help these young men to be able to continue to play basketball in a competitive environment throughout the year. So without further ado, let's bring in our host, Rick Nelson, and the director and founder of the Texas Youth Basketball League. Rick, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, Marlon Lowe. How you feel?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Look.
What's up?
Well, right off the top, we have so much to talk about, but why don't you explain to us real quick about the concept behind the Texas Youth Basketball League, the TYBL, how you came up with the concept and the purpose behind it?
You know, my guinea pig was Doc, Jared Vanderbilt, Marvin Wilson, Chris Giles, that Chandler Garvey group that I had that was back when we was really rolling in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade. That was my guinea pigs. At the time, I didn't know that they were guinea pigs. I just thought that we was just traveling and having a good time and playing basketball and eventually trying to help these guys reach some goals that we had put in place for them because we saw that God had blessed them with some type of talent. And so I felt like as those guys began to remove themselves from the youth age, I wanted to give or try to put in place something where guys like yourself that have a son that's coming up and you're raising your son because he's in an arena of basketball, that he can have something to be a part of. And those other dads that's trying to look for something for their kids to be a part of and be a part of somewhat of a circuit. And obviously being a part of the Adidas circuit, as long as I've been a part of the Adidas circuit and watching the Gauntlet and watching the EYBL Nike League and then the soon come the UA League, I just thought that, I woke up and just said, hey, man, you know what? It would probably be a good idea to put something together for the youth where they could travel different cities and guys like Marlon Lowe's and those guys that have bigger program, have older guys, they could be a part of the younger guys before they really get involved with the older guys, which actually starts after the state championship in March. And so that's where I came up with this concept of, starting a league that would cover what I consider our bigger cities here in the state of Texas, which was Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and have guys travel once a month, which in my mind felt like, you know what, you give guys an opportunity to travel and see each city. And think about it, if for a guy that has a program like you that's been around a long time and you're going to get involved in March to start dealing with those older guys, just think if you get a chance to be a part of your younger guys, January, February, March, we're actually starting in December, you've been with those guys for like 4 months. And so those guys get a chance to really see you, be involved. And now when you go be with the older guys, they don't feel so neglected no more. They don't feel like, man, Marlon Lowe don't care about us, or they just only care about the older guys. And so my experiences, I just said, you know what, it gives us a chance to spend some time with the younger guys, get to know who they are, really get a chance to see who's up and coming, and put these guys somewhat on the trail so they can feel positive about the direction that they're going. So they can start seeing that, you know what, those guys in the older Marlon Lowe's and Rick Nelson's, all those guys, older guys, they care about us too. They really trying to put us on the right path of becoming who we are, who we're supposed to be able to become later on in life. And so I just thought that the league would give these guys a chance to get some early exposure, because now, as you can see it, and they've been doing it for such a long time. You if you just check your internet and do some research, you probably find the number one second grader in the country, which sometimes I think is a little ridiculous, but but you can see how involved and how far these guys are really taking this thing in regards to trying to give their guys somewhat, I don't want to say an advantage, but trying to put them out there to give themselves some exposure. And so another part is that to be able to, my question to you would be, how hard is it to recognize who the best player in the gym is? That's really not hard. If me, you, and 5 other guys are talking about the same guy, and we're saying he's the best guy in the gym, that's really not hard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. We all know who the best player is. But my question to you is, what about that kid that's probably that haven't developed yet? What about that kid that, you know, he's only 5'7", but then he's going to mess around and be 6'7" when it's all said and done? You know, what about that kid? You know, those kids, the diamond in the rough kid, the kids that's, you know, so the TYBL highlights those programs, those young programs where they don't have to be a part of bigger programs. Those coaches that are really doing a great job, like Triumph does a really good job. I mean, he has a great program out there, and he does a great job with all his groups. There's a team, Ball and Beyond Houston, with a couple other guys that are playing. Tessa. Guys are just, you know, really doing a great job to try to help the youth and try to get them some exposure. And I think it's good for those guys because we want to sit down and we want to know about your kid. We want to know about the kids that's coming in. They paying their dues every day. They come to practice every day. We want to be able to put them out there and say, hey, you just never know if these kids going to really turn out to be, you know, what they're going to be. So we're going to give you an opportunity. We're going to put everybody on the stage. Right. So it's just about the number one player or the best teams. And so, you know, I don't try to compete with the bigger tournaments out there that's trying to bring in all the bigger teams throughout the country, from Maryland and New Orleans, all those type of things. I'm not trying to be the Super 60 tournament of down here, but I do want to be able to highlight those individual guys that's really trying to make a name and try to say, hey, I have a kid who works hard in the gym. He goes to training. He does all the right things. He has good grades. And you just never know, this kid might turn out to be something. I'm saying, hey, let's put this kid on the stage and let's see how it turn out. Because right. You just never know. And so the TYBL is basically a stage where any and everybody can come and put their name out there and get into the conversation. That's one of my biggest things I always say. Let's start the conversation about your kid. Okay. And so it's not about who's the best kid, who's the number one player, and all this type of stuff. It's just a conversation. So the conversation is that when college coaches call and say, Marlon Lowe, is there a guard in Houston that you know of? And all of a sudden you saw a kid play this weekend that caught your eye, you may just mention their name and say, hey, I saw a kid the other day who I thought may fit your program. Give him a call. Here's the coach's name. This is who he plays for. It's not hard to talk about the best player in the city of Houston. That's easy. You know?
Yeah, that's the easy job, right? That's the easiest job. You know, 2 kids to talk about.
Yeah, that's easy. And I think that the way the NCAA is set up now, whereas think about it. And we'll probably talk about that later. Is in the month of July, USA is going to have a camp where 300 kids get a chance to participate in session 1. 300 kids get to participate in session 2. USA basketball is going to have the top 100 elite camp. My question to you is, what happens to the diamond in the rough kid? Where's that? What happened to that kid that he's just okay? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, you know, and just to hit home, I'm glad my son gone because I'm thinking, okay, Doc wasn't a 5-star, 4-star kid. Does he get lost in the shuffle because he looked like any other guard, 6'1", 6'1.5" guard that's out there? What separates him from everybody else that's trying to get it and they only taking 700 kids? You know,
that's a great point. I mean, first, let's go back because you mentioned it twice, but you came around. when you speak of Doc, you said Doc a couple of times. So for those that are listening, be watching, you mean Doc Nelson, who was your own son. So you had him when he was young, and with the team that he was playing on with Jerry Vanderbilt and Marvin and things of that nature. You helped bring them up, and the league TYBL kind of evolved out of that.
Right.
Along with that, like when you said Marvin, this league, it produces, and it's been producing not only just top level basketball players at the high major, mid major, and low major levels, even Division II and NAIA levels, but it's also produced some high level football players as well. So it gives those top elite talented players an opportunity to continue to play, develop their skills, and then later on when they get older, they might realize that, look, I may have been the biggest one early. Now I'm not the biggest one. My talent and skills can now progress to the football field or something else, because people don't realize, it's a different subject, but college football players, college coaches for football love to watch those players play basketball as well. It shows footwork, it shows skill, and hand-eye coordination and movement. So
correct.
The league has also put football players, giving them opportunity to play in college as well.
And I have to give a shout out to two of them. It's definitely Marvin Wilson, who's at Florida State, who came through my program, and another kid that I'm proud of that played in my program for about 2.5 years, maybe 3, and went to college, with the high school, my son, which is Jalen Waller, who will be playing on Monday night in the national championship game with Alabama. So I'm really, really proud of those guys in particular, and not to say I'm not proud of the other guys, Jerry Vanderbilt, who plays in the NBA now, and those type of different things. And so I'm excited, and when I think back of, Bryce Griggs played a couple games in the TYBL, and LJ Cryer played in the TYBL. I'm proud of those guys, and I wish them guys nothing but success, and I know that they have a bright future, ahead of them. But again, it's not hard to identify who they are. But my question is that, we got Lil Hope coming through, Jaden Hope coming through. We got your son, Mr. Lowe, coming through now. So do people when you look at them, do they pass the eye test right now? Maybe not to some, okay, but their skill level is so impeccable. You have to pay attention to them because their skill level is, I used to tell, and I always speak about my son, just to not talk about other people's sons, is that I used to tell my son, your skill level allows you to be able to play. It's not your size. You don't pass the eye test. It's because you can dribble this ball with both hands, and your IQ level is high. It allows you to be able to participate and play with these guys. And so my thing is with the TYBL is definitely being able to find that gem, that hidden gem in the gym that say, hey, that kid right there, he gonna be all right. Let's start the conversation about that kid. Let's start a conversation. And and of course, the game doesn't stop. You get out there, you see what it is, and again, it gives a chance to promote your program, because I want other parents to see what it is you're doing, and that you are taking the chances of, trying to put your guys out there. And you're not just playing the same teams, every time you go to a tournament. We've been to tournaments where you play the same team. You go play this team this week, you go play the same team next week, the same team next week. And some parents, they look at it as a waste of money and a waste of time. So the TYBL gives you a chance to play a variety of teams from different cities from month to month, where you don't see the same teams, and it prepares you for what you have ahead for your team, whether it be some national tournament coming up in April or June or July, or nationals, or whatever the case may be, or things you want to do with your team. And so I just think it's just a stepping stone.
Definitely. And as you say, a stepping stone, not only does it help the players and identify the players with their talents, but it also helps the coaches in multiple ways. Right. First of all, it helps the coaches continue to be able to prepare their kids for playing against top-level talent. It helps them to understand and educate themselves as far as progressing as far as basketball knowledge and understanding. And it saves a lot of money to be able to travel around the state, in-state, instead of having to travel from state to state. When
Right.
people are travel, leave to go to the East Coast for a tournament. They'll leave to go to the West Coast for a tournament. And those are plane tickets. Those are rental cars. Those are hotel rooms and everything else. But when they're able to come to your TYBL, everything's in state. So there's no plane tickets needed. So sometime I know that you've set it up where people can play on certain days, which limits the amount of time, the amount of finances and resources they might have to spend. So those are all bonuses and pluses when you talk about the TYBL, where they can travel around the state and play against quality competition.
Yeah, and again, we limit it to where you're only going to spend one night. You're not going. You don't have to come up on Friday and stay 2-3 nights. We're gonna get you in and out. The event does not start till 12 o'clock or after, so it gives you time to get up and travel to those cities, and be able to play your game. You'll play 2 games on Saturday or 2 games on Sunday, or however it fits into your schedule to get your games in, so that you guys can play. So, economically, it's definitely affordable. It's not about, of course, you need the finances to be able to run the event and make sure that it has success, but it's not about the money. It's about providing a platform for these guys to be able to come, I want parents to be able to witness and be able to enjoy some of the things that I've had an opportunity and I've been blessed to enjoy throughout watching my kid play and watching everybody else's kid play. And I just think that I just believe I will be blessed if I continue to bless others and be able to give people my platform to be able to do this. This is the thing that this is one of the things that I put out to everyone every day. Is my question to you, and I'll propose this question to Marlon Lowe right here today. When is the last time you used your stage to pull somebody else up that's trying to go into the same direction that go down the same road that you've been down? And so I asked that question to a lot of people, is that whenever you use your platform to pull somebody else up. And so that's the thing that I'm really on and I'm really about right now is pulling people up and saying, hey, I want you to experience what I've experienced. I see where you're going. I want to help you. How can I help you? It don't cost you nothing. When people come to my event, you see people set up in my event selling stuff, I ain't charge them nothing. They there to make money. They out there to show people what they have. You know what I'm saying? So I'm using my platform for you to come out here and do your thing, and be able to show people what you're doing. Show them what positive movement you're making. And so those are things I'm doing, is trying to use my platform to pull people up and pull kids in and say, hey, I want you to share the same experience I did with my kid. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to get what I get. I want you to get more and be able to share my knowledge and say, hey, here's other mistakes that I made. Don't make this mistake. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that goes a long way. That goes a long way. Here's the mistakes I made. Don't make the same mistake. You're sharing, you're giving other people an opportunity, you're putting them in a situation whereas they can grow themselves and learn from you and some of the history and the errors that you've made. Right. So that right there is immeasurable. So that, you should get commended more and kudos for being able to do that. Because like you said, if you're letting people come up and put in their own stands and booths or galleries and things of that nature and grow that way, that's another platform alone in itself.
Right. Absolutely.
So tell us, what are the future dates of the TYBL? What we have coming up?
Next weekend we'll be in Dallas. Next weekend we will be in Dallas at Duncanville Fieldhouse. We'll get a chance to see some Houston teams, a couple of Austin teams, and definitely a lot of Dallas teams participating at Duncan Fieldhouse. We're excited about that opportunity right there. So again, it's going to be at Duncanville Fieldhouse. It's going to be live, and it's going to be happening next weekend. The following month we'll be in Austin, and then we'll be the championship is in March, the same weekend as the state high school championship, the state high school championship in the same city, actually about 10 to 15 minutes apart from each other. And the reason why we do that is because it's really geared for our 7th and 8th graders, mostly because all the high school coaches in the state of Texas are where? At the state tournament. So they give them a chance to come and support the 8th graders. They get a chance to come in and support those 8th graders. And I don't want to use the word recruit, but just show the guys that, hey, we're excited about you guys coming to be a part of our high school experience and be a part of our freshman, sophomore, junior, varsity team, or whatever case may be. and they get a chance to support them. And so, and at the same time, those teams and families get a chance to go experience what it's like to be at the high school tournament. Because some of these kids have never, ever been to a high school tournament. And unfortunately, some will never, ever get a chance to play in a high school state championship. That's real.
True.
But they get a chance to see it, feel it, live it, and say, hey, you know what? Here's my goal. This is what it's about. This is what I'm working for.
Right. Yeah. So for those that are watching, who will be eventually watching, continue to watch, how can they find you? How can they sign up for the TYBL for the future? How can they get some updates on it? Where can they go?
You can go to nelsonbrandsports.com to sign up for nelsonbrandsports.com. We have several events that are up and coming. And so you can find all the information about TYBL. All my information is on there. Everyone out there has my phone number. It's a worldwide number, 832-651-9032. Rick Nelson. You can text me. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter, Texas, I think it's Texas Hoops, Texas Hoop Youth, at Texas Hoop Youth is on Twitter, where we tweet everything and we highlight everything and we talk about recaps and stuff like that about the event. So, at this stage, Marl, I think pretty much everyone that don't know us, they've heard of us, and just let us know, man. We here. We're here to help your kids, man, and try to give you that experience that you definitely need and deserve.
Has it been difficult to get coaches and teams signed up? What kind of challenges have you had to face in order to get coaches, teams, all in understanding your purpose behind it to get everybody on one page?
The challenges is that I just think they just don't know. A lot of times, people see you in one way where you're, I don't know if it's just this is just another tournament or this is just another event. But if you really sit down and look at it, we're sincerely trying to help individuals, help coaches, help teams, help programs. This is not about me trying to take your program to come be a part of my program, take your player to come be a part of my team. This is about it's about helping you keep your team together. Mm-hmm. I really want you to build your program. I really want you to do the things that you want to do. If I would sit down with you and tell you of all the people that have their own program because of what I have said to them, because they were contemplating doing something else, and I was saying, why don't you just do your own thing? Why don't you just continue to believe in you, believe in your program, believe in what you're doing, and trust it will work out. Not knocking, that you can't come be a part of what I'm doing or go be a part of what Marlon Lowe doing or go be in a Nike program, but you got something good. So I'm encouraging this league is encouraging guys to continue doing what they're doing and giving them keyword is support, giving them the support their need. And I think guys like me and you, definitely like guys like you with this platform that you have right here, Marlon, guys like you can really, really help guys promote what it is they are trying to do and give them the confidence and continue to encourage them to push forward. Because Marlon, man, you've been down the road, man. I mean, you've seen a lot. That's probably I don't think I can throw nothing at you and you were like, I ain't never seen that. Or I haven't experienced that.
I've had my share. I've had my
share of experiences that a lot of guys wouldn't even believe. And then at the age that we was blessed to be able to experience it somewhat at an earlier age where we are still young enough to get up every morning, walk, run, and jog and laugh without, some of the guys that have been in the game when we came, they're older, like really older. You're old school and you're still a young guy.
Right.
I think that's valuable. That's just valuable. Again, my challenges are guys just not knowing and just being able to try to reach those guys and educate them. And sometimes it's just being able to show them that it's not about the money. You know, it's about, man, sometimes I just ask the question, do you want to play?
Mm.
And it's like, man, we just want to play. Show up. Show up. Last year, we got a lot of teams to participate, and I just told them to show up. Just come show up. Just show up and play, because I want you guys to experience this. And after they experienced it, then they really start to understand what it really was about. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, along with the TYBL, because like you said, I experienced it myself, had a great time, enjoyed it, got a chance to see teams from Austin, the San Antonio area, Dallas, Houston, and even some smaller towns in between. So it was a great experience for us, and it was just a good atmosphere to be around. Now, Nelson Brand Sports also does more than just the TYBL. Why don't you share some of your other events with us so people can know what to expect in the future and where to find those events?
Well, we start our calendar year off with the Texas High School Jamboree. This year, it's during the Thanksgiving holidays. It hosted 45 high school teams throughout the states, in two on one facility, which is Episcopal High School. We started off with the high school. We come back. We have a middle school jamboree. This year it was held at St. Michael's. We partnered with Ralph Cooper to work with him in his Stars of the Future, which was also held in November. And then we came with Texas Jamboree Middle School in December. One of the bigger events that we work with is the Texas Classic, Pearland Texas Classic, which is held in April. Will be the April 26, 27, 28 of this year. Will be a live event. Will be a live event this year for college coaches and for up and coming youth teams, and serve like one of our national events. We have the Texas Elite, the Elite 36, which is held in May, where we have some of the top summer programs come down and participate in May. We're going to have a youth national tournament during the month of July that will be hitting the streets real soon. So we got a lot of things coming up. We got some camps and stuff coming up in the month of July. So it's going to be a real busy month, a real busy year for us. So I'm really, really excited about doing some things, and I got to throw it out there because I got to say that it's because of Marlon Lowe that we're able. It's the Marlon Lowe's, it's the Stacey Houstons, it's myself, it's those guys. I got to give credit to all the guys that constantly pump this, and they constantly saying this is brothers working together. And so those are the things that I'm really trying to do better in 2019. I've started doing it, but I want to be even better at it in regards to working with guys. I really want to work with more and more people. So if you want to call me the Lil Wayne of basketball, I'm gonna be on everybody's hook.
I like that. Hey, and I'll say this. Hey, I got my Texas Jamboree shirt on. I'm about supporting. I got my Texas Jamboree shirt on. I enjoyed the event. It was awesome. It was at Episcopal High School in November, Thanksgiving weekend, and had about 2 great days of basketball where they started at 10 o'clock in the morning, ran all the way through the late in the evening. Started up, that was on a Friday, started up on a Saturday, ran all through the day and the evening. He had 2 gyms. It was packed filled to capacity. Parents, basketball. It was just great media attention there. So you did a great job with that, man. And I'm always looking forward to that. I think that's a mainstay. Kind of tell us how long you've been doing that Texas Jamboree as well.
17 years, man. That was year 17. I got to give thanks to Rashard Lewis and his team, because they came in and they were part of it. Came in, put his name on it. Rashard was there 2 days, him and his team, passing out T-shirts, doing raffles, doing all type of different things. So, I mean, big ups to Rashard Lewis basketball, because he's doing some great things in the city. So look out for what he's doing, because he got some things coming up too. So that's really, really great. So, but it's 17 years, and it started again. I always give props. Started with Gerald Green. That's how it all started, because he wanted to play in an event, and we put it together. And so I have to give thanks to guys like him that believed in me, guys like Chris Rivers and those guys that believed in me. And so I always got to give thanks to where I come from, because I didn't do this by myself. God put people around me to help me to be able to be who I am and be successful. And again, I read a lot of your tweets, Marlon, and a lot of your tweets and stuff you put out there, inspirational and everything. And I remember one tweet you put out. It was real funny. I laughed at it a little bit. It was a tweet where you said you wanted to apologize to anyone that you've offended or anyone that you crossed wrong or was taken the wrong way. You wanted to send out an apology. And I just said, you know what? The older we get, the better we get. and we begin to understand and value things a little bit better. And just things in life become a little more important, to you, you know what I'm saying? To where relationships and friendship and camaraderie, it just means more now than it did probably when I was younger. And at some point in everybody's life, we was reckless. At some point in your life, you was reckless.
Very reckless.
And some have made it, and some are still trying to come through, and some haven't. Mm-hmm. And so when you're on this side and you're able to acknowledge and identify things that you've done and things that you want to do better to help your community, I think it's just positive, man. It's just a plus.
Absolutely. So where do you see Nelson Brand Sports, say 5 years from now? What's the purpose? What would you like to see? Where would you like to see it at 5 years from now in regards to a local, regional, and a statewide and a national level? I mean, tell us a plan, or if there's a plan to go nationally, or just if you just focus on really collectively bringing the city and the state together. What's your plan for Nelson Brand Sports overall, not just the TYBL?
Man, my plan overall is to build a brand and a legacy that I can pass along to my family that will connect with other families. And they just together will continue to build a bigger brand, which is bigger than Nelson Brand. Where Nelson family will get with the Lowe family, and Lowe family will get with Martin Rogers' family, and Martin Rogers' family, where we just all work together to build something. Because if you get 2 or 3 Black American positive Black men together, powerful. You put great minds together, you're powerful. You're just powerful, because it doesn't make sense for us to continue to fight each other, which it's going to still take some time to get where we're trying to go, because sometimes we're still like crabs in a bucket sometimes, but that's just the mentality that's been there forever. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we just got to continue to be positive, and it's one brick at a time. Right. One brick at a time. So if Marlon pulls me in, and then we pull Stacey Houston in, and we pull Clyde in, and we pull Sloan in, and we start pulling guys in, those are bricks.
Right, crumbs and bricks. That's an old song, 8-Ball MJG back in the day. I don't even want to bring that up, but listen. So what I've noticed, and I've seen from I see it easily from what you said, but for those that are listening, tell us about how you went about doing. You do summer and scholastic events. Right. You do summer ball events, you do middle school events, and you do scholastic events, which is the high school events. What made you to get into that realm? Not only that, but tell me this: how were you able to foster the relationship with high school coaches and able to be able to do scholastic events?
Well, I started off as a high school coach. I started off coaching at Chandlerview High School. I was assistant coach, varsity coach there. I got my first head coaching job at Lutheran South Academy. So I've done some coaching. I'm now coaching at Provision Academy with Ronnie Courtney. And so just relationships, man, just being upfront with guys and not afraid, to help those guys. Those guys, as though they're high school coaches, they want honesty and they want help too. You know what I'm saying? They want, they want you to be honest with them. And so that's been the key for me. It's just being fair to trying to help their kids to get where they're trying to go also. So it's not, I guess I say I had to at some point learn to separate summer basketball and high school basketball and events. So I had to come up with like two different entities where this is summer basketball, this is events. And so because a lot of people were tying them in together, you how many times have you probably, Marlon, you've done it. You've done a tournament and all your parents would think that it's a, man, this our tournament. This is a Texas Pro tournament. This is a whatever type of whoever team you is. You think that's your tournament, and you try to tell the parent, no, it's not y'all tournament. This is a tournament you guys are participating in. And so trying to separate is probably the hardest thing. But once I got a chance to separate and be able to give everyone every entity that I have its own identification where the people can identify, okay, that's grassroots and that's Nelson Brand Sports, where this is what he does. And I had to get to a point where I had to make a decision of, okay, do you want to be grassroots kingpin or do you want to go over here and be an event coordinator? And one thing that Sonny Vaccaro taught me when I came into it was when you come into this business, the objective is to help kids, but the objective also is to grow. And that's what I took from him was to grow. I'm helping kids, but as you're helping kids, you gotta grow. Absolutely. You just don't stay in the same situation the whole time, because if I always took this like the church. You see these mega churches. If you're still going back to my mama used to always say, when you go to church and there's still 7 members, they're not growing.
Yeah.
Still got 7 members, it's not growing. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you got to think outside the box. You got to do other things. You got to do things that's going to attract people to show, and you want to help more people. In order to help more, you got to grow.
Absolutely.
And that's what I took from it is that I wanted to grow into an area something that I like to do, because you don't want to sit around and try to chase this kid and hope he be an NBA player and think that he gonna come back and put you in a big old house and put you in a Bugatti and say thank you very much for helping me. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Definitely.
It don't work that way.
It has not worked that way in the past. Not often.
It always worked that way. Yeah. So I'm saying it don't happen, but it don't always work that way. Right. But position yourself to where as you're helping them, you're growing, because as you grow, you're helping more people. And the more people you help, the more people see what you're doing. The more people that see what you're doing, the more people want to get involved. The more people want to get involved, the more you grow.
Absolutely. So you mentioned, like you said, people that want to get involved. You mentioned a number of names. One of the names in particular that you mentioned is Stacey Houston, who has the DJ at DJH5 report and Inside the Plex Hoops out of Dallas, Texas. So you and Stacey have been working together a long time. You've collaborated on many events. You support each other. And as I see, for those who are watching and those who see, that's been a good bond. And I think that watching the two of you work together has helped a lot of people to see how things should be, how things should flow. From what we see, there's not an ego. We know egos are involved, but you're able to put things aside for the greater cause of collective welfare of everyone involved. So
you know who you are. You gotta know who you are. You know who you are. If you know what you're good at. If me and Marlon, you're doing something today, there's no way I'm gonna try to do a video. I'm not gonna put up no podcast. I'm not doing those things. It's not. I guess if you want to say stay in your lane, it's about let's not double up. If Marlon, this is what you're good at, this is what you do. You do it. Ricky, this is what you're good at, then this is what you do. Well, this is how we're gonna grow. Right. So I'm okay with who I am, and you're okay with who you are. But that's through growth. That's through maturity. Right. That's through experiences. That's through, being okay with where you are.
Right. So, I agree with that. I like that. That's aggregated growth. That's building tiers instead of a group, something being here, you build one and then someone else build one. All it does is it's lateral movement. It's lateral movement. But as you said, somebody has a lane, let's build on that, keep pushing that, building it up here. When you get yours, we build it, and it goes up instead of us canceling each other out at the bottom all the time. So that's a great way to put that. Look, Rick, we've had a lot of time today talking about the TYBL, Nelson Brand Sports. Want to definitely get you, Stacey Houston, and some other guys back inside the booth. You know, we got a mic, we got it all up in here, baby.
Yeah, I like it.
Try to get y'all back inside the booth so we can talk about sports, talk about unity, how to come together and collaborate more, and let other parents, coaches, and high school coaches know about the events that you all have coming up so that they can prepare for it early on.
I got a question for you, Marlon. I got a question for you.
Okay.
What I like to know is the first session in Houston, TYBL, Texas Pro played. Okay. Got a chance to watch you play. Got a chance to watch your son play. I want to know the feeling you had being on that sideline, coaching those guys, knowing that one of the 5 or 7, 8 guys that was out there was your son out there participating. I mean, what's that feeling like? I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody, you talk about how does it feel to coach your son, but what's that feeling because of that? Y'all remember the level that you're at. A lot of guys coach their kid, but they've never been where you've been. Okay, you know Daniel House is playing for the Rockies now. You got pros, man. You got guys out there that have gone to higher levels of this game. All right, you've seen it all. All right. So how does it feel when you out there coaching your own kid? You know, what's that feeling like to say, okay, I know I've coached all these guys here, but man, what is that you see with this group? Like when you look at that group and you say, man, what is the thing that comes across when you look at that group or when you look at your kid and you're coaching your son?
Well, from a personal perspective, because you're asking from a parental perspective and not a coach, I understand. First of all, I like that team that we put together. Jason Borker has put together, and I helped coach with him sometime, but I just enjoyed it because you see the growth, you see the potential that kids have, you see where they have the opportunity to evolve, what they have a chance to evolve into. They're not there yet. They're not the finished product. But when you've been around the game for a while, you've seen many guys that were not the finished product, and later on, they are the product. They're selling the product, you know? And so it gives me a chance to see those guys from a youth perspective and enjoy the process, continue to encourage them through the process. As far as my own son is concerned, I get a chance to watch him to play. I allow him to communicate with me as a coach, not as a father. I allow him to communicate with me as a coach. I'm your coach. So share with me what you think out there. Share with me what you think I'm saying. So I get a chance to understand what goes on in his mind from a player perspective, and he can communicate with me. So it helps me to be able to say, okay, so that's the adjustment I need to make as a coach, or that's why as a parent, I need to give him a little bit more free range to be able to make decisions on his own. Or you get a chance to say, okay, I'm just enjoying sitting here with my son, get a chance to watch him play and watch his teammates and win, lose, draw, get a chance to just be a part of the whole process of them growing up and evolving into young men. And to me, there's nothing better than that. So I'm excited about it. Actually, right now, my 6th grade son is in Dallas right now.
I saw the highlights.
They're in Dallas right now playing in an event. And I tell you what, like I said, it's a show for another day. But Derek Shelby with Drive Nation Sports sent me a picture yesterday, tweeted out yesterday about seeing my son out there and my family out there. He went up to him, spoke to him, said hello, put it out. And you know what? Things like that mean a lot.
Exactly.
Just the simple fact that, look, I'm not always for self. I'm acknowledging other people. I'm acknowledging other players. And it's just fun to sit back and say, look, guys, if we all give group hugs sometime, I think that we will give group hugs. But things like that are important. And that's why we do. That's why we do what we do.
And that's the reason why I asked the question, because that's what the TYBL is really about. For guys like Marlon Lowe, guys like Lamar Holt, whose son I think is going to be fantastic. He has great skill set and is going to be really, really good. I think it's for guys like that. And what I want to do is continue to, hopefully guys will hear this. They will listen to you. They will sit down and talk with guys like you, guys like Lamar Holt, and get that experience. But I want you to share what I share. I mean, I'm telling you, the greatest feeling in the world is when you work your son through. To this day, me and Doc talk before every game. We have the same ritual before every game. He will text me right after pregame before we go in the locker room, and we talk. And we just small talking. We ain't talking about strategy. We just, I may throw in something like, hey, I need you to get some rebounds. I need you to get in there and get you some rebounds. I need you to, you take your time on your free throws. Don't do no dumb foul. It's the same rituals every game. There's no feeling like it to be able to go through that process. And even if I'm not even at the games, we're just talking on the phone and just being able to experience it. And I think it's really good for every father or every mother that has a kid that's playing to experience it. And you're helping them guys become men. And I think it's a great feeling. So that's my whole contribution to my community of Houston. I want to thank Houston. I thank everyone for supporting these kids, supporting me, and continue to encourage what I'm doing and what everybody else is trying to do. Bless everyone. Happy New Year. And I hope 2019 is the bomb.
Yes. So look, as we conclude, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. For those that's going to be viewing it later on, make sure that you go online, follow Nelson Brand Sports, follow the TYBL on Twitter, find out what's going on in the local community and around the state. Get involved. Call Rick. He gave you his number. Ask him a lot of questions. These are things that we have to continue to do in order to enhance ourselves and the kids and our communities around us. So for Rick Nelson, I'm Marlon Lowe. Thanks for being inside the booth with us. We look forward to talking with you and seeing you soon. Hey, retweet this when you can. Share it, support it, and subscribe. Enjoy the day. Rick, closing remarks.
Hey, man, just continue to be positive and continue to grow.
There it is. Thanks for being inside the booth. We'll talk with you soon.
Peace.
And there we have it. Excuse me. I got a little quick itch right now. But look, enjoy everything. We appreciate it. Subscribe to Inside the Booth, please. Share it when you can. Rick Nelson just gave us some valuable information, insight on how the game is done and his thoughts on why he started TYBL, his summer basketball events, and his scholastic events. Talked about high school coaches, talked about college coaches and players. It's a lot of things going on right there. So thank you again. Look forward to it. Enjoy.